Summer it's too hot, winter it's too cold, we're never happy. So I'm not staying out here in the shop very long today. It's all of about 35 degrees out, 35 degrees in here. So, and I don't feel like warming it up today. Thought I would give you a couple little updates about what's going on. Said I was doing patterns for precision centers. Here's the first half. The other half is sitting on the 3D printer bed now, printing away. And I've got about 4 more patterns that I'm going to continue to print out for accessories that go along with this. So let me just show you how it's going to sit on the bed here. There's our bed, and it will sit on there just like that, and we'll run 2 of those. So it's an 18-inch long bed, so I should be able to comfortably handle 12-inch long pieces. Maybe not comfortably, but we'll get 12-inch long pieces in there. And that's about what I figured for capacity for this. So there'll be 2 halves of that. They will sit on there. They'll be machined down so this fits down between the bed. And our little clamping knob will go right here in the front. And I think that's gonna work real well. I think I'm gonna probably, when I mount these to a mash plate, we'll probably round this front edge and shorten it up just a little bit. Just to give a little more free space on this front way, like I talked about before. But there's the first half. That's what we're going to look like. So I'm satisfied with that for now. Other things going on, pattern making. The other pattern for the aluminum foundry flasks. This is the printed out portion. These are the pieces that I've been doing. These are going to be my longer sides. We've added 2 inches to them. So we've got another 2-inch long box, and that gives us I believe it's an 8 by 10 box. So that's what we're going to end up with. I thought about extending them a little bit farther, but I think that'll work pretty good for what I want to do with them. So there's that. Lots of other pattern making going on. Of course, I've had this pattern. We're going to start developing it a little bit more. And all of these patterns are going to eventually going to go to cast iron. I've set these up as cast iron. This is one that I built quite a while ago. But we'll build probably a second one so we can put them on a match plate. And pretty much all of the patterns that I develop for the Atlas stuff from now on these bigger patterns will be all allow shrink allowance for cast iron. So you'll see them prototyped in aluminum, I would imagine, because that's how I prototype stuff. And I do some patterns even for match plate patterns and even loose patterns. I will do some of them in aluminum. But ultimately, things like this 6-inch follower rest casting, they'll be done in cast iron before I actually release them, I would imagine. So there's stuff like that going on. There's the guard for the tool post grinder. And that's another one that, there's been a little bit of interest in those. So we've got them. When it's cold like this, all I'm doing is I've decided my time's better spent sitting in front of the computer or on the drawing board and developing patterns. Once it starts warming up a little bit, we'll start producing some wood patterns that I'm going to do here. But and a lot of this stuff I'm not doing in CAD and CAM. I will do probably old mechanical drawing with pencil on a drafting board, and that's my preferred way to do stuff, especially if I'm going to do wooden patterns. If I'm doing something else that's like these patterns here where I want to 3D print them out. I can do those better and more efficiently in CAD, running Fusion 360, and I'm getting to where I can make stuff to where it doesn't stall out because I've given it the wrong command. So anyway, I'm working with that a little bit, but a lot of the wood patterns will be, or a lot of the Atlas patterns will be wood patterns mounted to a match plate. There's stuff like the vice castings for the patterns for those. And I've got the complete vice swivel base and the whole 9 yards sitting here that I've disassembled, and I'm cleaning these up. I'll develop a pattern for this, and we'll do drawings of this and then develop a pattern for them. So we've got several things like that are going on. Questions about raw castings. I probably, for the most part, will not release raw castings at this point in time. For what I want to do as I develop these, why they're going to be a completed product if I get them to the point where I can release them for sale. Several reasons for that, but that I'm not going to get into right now. But for the best product available at this point in time, if I'm doing a pattern or something like this, well, I think I will produce a completed part, you know, at least for the first few. I want to prove the concept, we'll make sure we've got good castings that machine nicely and that type of thing. So there's stuff like that going on, and I've got a bunch of Atlas patterns that I'm working on at once. There's a bunch of drawings going on, and it's just something that's going along. One of the things that I will release as raw casting is probably angle plates. And I don't have these mounted to a match plate yet or ready to go, but those I will probably release as a raw casting, and they'll be in aluminum. As I've said before, angle plates are a consumable item, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So they're to be machined, and when you're done with them, you throw them away when you got too many holes or cuts in them and that type of thing. So they've been considered a consumable before, you know, in the old shops, why that's what they were, they were consumables, and that's the way I look at an angle plate or a, you know, something like that. So for me, on the Atlas size machines, the aluminum works fine for those. You know, they machine easily for the home shop. You can do a quick and easy jig or angle plate for them, and there's lots of material on these particular ones that you can machine away quite a bit and get them as square as you want to get them. So anyway, that's what's happening with those. Only other thing that I've really got today that even mildly interests me or is holding my interest is I got a air regulator for on my little powder coat spray booth. The regulator I've been using it's been a faithful little regulator that I've used for years. For whatever reason, why it decided it didn't want to turn down enough for me to run powder coat. So this was an Amazon. It's a Taylor's pneumatic. You know, it looked like a halfway decent little regulator. So I'll throw a link to it down in the bottom. But as long as it will turn down low enough for me to run powder coat through it, which I only want 7 to 10 pounds, something like that, 6 to 10 pounds. Why, as long as it will turn down that much and do for the amount of powder coating I do, it will work fine. There's our air fittings. Look to be the same air fitting that I'm using. Yep. So it's the will hopefully be the cat's meow for me. And I'm probably not going to plumb quick disconnects in on this one. I'm probably going to run this directly onto the air hose. I guess I will do a quick disconnect on the end, but on the outside I'm probably going to plumb my hose in direct, because it is dedicated to this little project. So we'll do a these are pretty cheap components, but we'll see how well they work. If they don't hold up, why, we'll do away with them and move on to something better. I haven't even fired up the compressor this morning, and I'm not going to, but we'll go ahead and assemble this, I think. Too wide. And I'm going to leave it right like that for now. I may I'm going to put a whip hose on both sides just so it's easier to handle. But anyway, not a bad looking little regulator. We'll see if it holds up. Got a filter on it, so there we go. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got going on today. I'm going to putter out here for just a little bit and go in and start doing some more drawings and hopefully find a little bit informative what's happening for the day. Comment suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. And as always, guys, have a good weekend, and thanks for taking the time to watch.